Alright, so we got a cp3 conversion for an LML 2012. I got mine from Lincoln Diesel Specialties. They don't come with instructions because this kit really needs to be installed by a mechanic that already knows what he's doing, but it can be done at the house in the driveway if you have basic mechanical skills. But since it doesn't come with instructions, I was doing a lot of research trying to figure out exactly how everything hooked up, because this is the first time I've done a cp3 conversion kit on a LML, and I couldn't really find anything, so I figured I'd make this video since I got it all figured out and try to help somebody else out with their kit. So it comes with the cp3 and then an adapter plate. That's pretty self-explanatory. You should be able to figure that out. But then right here, it comes with on this fitting and this fitting. I don't know why they don't do this before they send you the kit, but the stock fittings are in it. They're just stock nipples, but the nipples are too small for the hoses they send you. So you have to change out this nipple right here and that nipple right there. They give you the O-rings and everything for it, so it's not a big deal. But make sure you do that before you put it in, or it will be a pain to do this in the truck. So change those two out with the ones provided. And then you're gonna get about a foot of this hose. You're gonna get this pre-bent rubber hose, and then you're gonna get this hard line. So first things first, this hose right here, this hard line, this is coming from your fuel filter housing. So this is basically the low pressure feed line for the cp3. So that's stock. This hose comes in the kit. It's a pre-bent hose, like probably 4 or 5 inches long. So that's gonna go from this nipple right here. You're gonna clamp that on, and it's gonna go down and around to this nipple that's on the back of the cp3 and get clipped on, and that's your low pressure feed line for the cp3 pump. And then it's going to come out right here of this hard line that they give you in the kit. This hard line goes on this screw-on fitting that's on the top back of the cp3, and that's going to come up over here and down to your fuel rail. So your original cp4 has a dual fuel line feed because it's got 2 pistons and 2 outputs on the cp4. So you're gonna take that old dual fuel line off, and you're going to install this new fuel line on the first slanted input on your fuel rail. Not the one that's straight up and down. That one stays. Just this first slanted one. And then on the second slanted one is going to be, they provide a plug for you in the kit, and you just screw on that one to plug off that second hole. And then after you install that, then there's this one. It's a nipple that's in front of that threaded plug that's on top of the cp4 towards the front, and that is going to go up and back around down in there to the stock return fuel line that goes all the way to your tank. It goes underneath through the valley, underneath your Y bridge, back here, and to this back here, and that's gonna be your return to the tank. And then if you are non-emissions, this would be right here. This is the feed line to your 9th injector. They send you this little plug in the kit. Be careful with it. You have to kind of get a pick and kind of, it takes a little bit of work to get this off without breaking anything, but it can be done. But basically this plug looks just like this, but you plug this because this has to stay on the truck, and then that completely deletes your 9th injector. This is obsolete. You can rip all that out of the truck and be done with it. Let's see what else. Also, the plug that you're going to use is going to be this plug back here, and it is a yellow and black plug. And then you're also going to take out your old fuel temperature sensor out of the cp3 and just plug it back into its harness and zip tie this out of the way somewhere, because you won't need this. This is for an emissions only truck. And then this one, it's hard to see, it's pretty dirty, but this is a yellow and brown wire right here. So this plug will plug into the cp3, so don't get that mixed up. Make sure the yellow and black gets hooked up to the cp3, and the yellow and brown gets hooked up to your fuel temperature sensor. And then some of the things you're gonna have to do to take this cp4, the original cp4 out to put this one in, is you will have to remove your Y bridge out of here. You have to remove this boot. Some people say you have to remove this, but I didn't have to. But that's just to get these fuel lines, because these fuel lines have to come out. The hard line, you just unclip them from here. Make sure you have some fuel disconnect tools, fuel line disconnect tools. You can get them at Harbor Freight. Buy the pack with 8 in it, because the pack with 4 in it only doesn't, it will do this one over here but won't do this big of a fuel line. Made that mistake. But yeah, those hard lines bolt right here, and they also are bolted down in the valley, and they go under your Y bridge up. This is one of them right here, and your returns right here. So this one goes to your fuel filter housing all the way over here. So it takes some work to get them out. You have to like slightly bend them, be careful with them, just don't kink them, but you can put some force on them. They're pretty strong. It's gonna be hard to get them out. I honestly didn't think they could come out. Then I watched some videos, and I'm like, well, I guess they can come out. So just threw a little bit of force at them, and they came out. And then once I went to go put it back in the truck, they went right back in. So I don't know why I fought it so hard to get it out. And then you're pretty much gonna have to take most of the accessories off besides the water pump. I took the thermostat housing crossover off. I took the tensioner bracket, the whole tensioner assembly off, and then I unbolted the power steering and just moved it out of the way to be able to get to that, because you have to get to 4 bolts down pretty much right here. So here's 2 of them. So these 2 bolts right there, and you can't see it on this side, I don't think, really. There's one of them, but it's the same thing on both sides. So with all that stuff out of the way, it's right there, easily accessible. This is a pretty in-depth job. I would definitely recommend setting a few days aside, maybe like 3 or 4 days, especially if you work a normal job during the day and you can only mess with this a few hours after work. Definitely don't do this whenever you're going to need your vehicle anytime soon. Also, be ready to probably find some problems if you do have a decent amount of miles on your truck. I've ran into quite a few. This pipe was full of junk, so I ended up soaking that with degreaser and having to clean it all. And then also the turbo wheel, I can actually show you that. I got that over here. I ended up changing that out because whenever, let's see if I can see, she's pretty chewed up. I just didn't feel comfortable putting that back in. The truck's got a lot of miles on it. I ended up going with the, see if I can find it, the Wicked wheel for the LML. It was about $260. Not too bad. Better than replacing a turbo. So, yeah. It's taken me a little bit longer, but I ended up pulling the whole front of the turbo off and kind of cleaning everything up. I had to wait on that wheel to get here. Had to change out this boot. That boot was pretty ripped up on the inside. I had a few times that it blew off on me, so it was time to change that. And this Y bridge, a trick that I've learned, because there is bolts way down in there, and everything's slotted, but you can't start the bolts and then slide it in. I've tried, it did not work. So you take out the 4 like regular, but the bottom 4, you can get long extensions down there and loosen them up. And then for the last few threads, get a magnet in there and just grab the tip and just start spinning it out. And that's what worked for me. It made life a lot easier. Also did the same thing to reinstall the bolts. So yeah, should be about it. It's definitely not a fun job. There's not a whole lot of room in these motors to move around. So if y'all have any questions, y'all doing this yourselves or looking into doing it, let me know. If you have any questions, just leave a comment. I'll try to help as much as I can. I'm still learning all this. I'm coming from the world of LS to diesels. We have a race truck in the back. It's 1,000 horsepower, 12 valve compound turbos, S476, I believe, over S392, fully built motor. Trans is blown up. We're about to pull the trans out of that, so we'll make a quick video on that. And yeah, that's about it. We'll make a video on the Cummins pretty soon. There's going to be more for this truck. And then the side-by-side back there. That'll be coming next. I got the whole motor torn apart for the side-by-side right now. I sunk it in a bounty hole, so rebuilding all that. I have all the new parts from Rev 6 in here. They're high compression pistons, they're forged rods, so it's gonna be pretty good build. And then I'm pulling the trans on it. Transmission was leaking from the center of the case. Nothing else wrong with it. It's fully built. Super ATV case, and then all the internals are from Turner. Every internal that Turner makes for these. And yeah, then we'll be going back together with this thing. So we'll have quite a bit of content on this. And then the race truck in the back. It's a mess in here right now. Need to clean up. I've been messing with this truck, so I got everything scattered everywhere. But yeah, there'll be more content coming soon. Let me know what you want to see in the future.